What's up, folks? I'm Dave Underkoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, and this week's one-week test drive is of the 2022 BMW iX. This is an all-new vehicle for BMW. It is all electric, has between 304 and 324 miles of range, depending on which wheels you get, 516 horsepower from a pair of electric motors. It's all-wheel drive. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. This one starts about $84,000. Our loaded tester is $102,000. So let's go spend a week with it and tell you what we think. All right, let's take a look at the exterior of the iX. This is mineral white metallic, our tester. And honestly, it's probably my least favorite color on the iX. It just makes the car look too stormtrooper-y, right? From Star Wars, a bunch of stormtroopers drove in on it. There's a nice dark gray that I like, and a nice dark red, but yeah, don't feel the white here. The front clip here is a little more aggressive than the base model. This has the sport package. It's $2,800, so that front bumper, a little more black in this opening here. It's actually a fake opening. That's more aggressive on this one. And then the sport package also has clear taillight lenses in the back. Standard models, those will just be red. And as I've mentioned, the size of the wheel will affect the range. So we have 22-inch alloy wheels. That's the biggest you can get on this car. That means the range is 315 miles on a single charge. If you go for the base, that has 20-inch alloy wheels, and that'll have 324 miles of range. So overall, what do you guys think of the styling? Do you like it? Or is this just too clinical, too cold? Let us know in the comments below. All right, now to the interior of the iX. Very modern, very airy. Sort of a floating panel you have here. That's one continuous unit, it's a curved display. 14.9-inch infotainment system screen, and then 12.3-inch for the driver. This has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, as it should. You can also then charge your smartphone wirelessly down there. It is a touchscreen, works pretty well. What I really like is that you then have redundant controls down here. So this is a rotary knob, and then you have a volume knob. It's nice to have physical buttons too, and then you have additional buttons there. So that's pretty cool. If you're wondering about this sort of crystalline display here, or excuse me, not display, but button, and then this is the shifter right there. You also have similar buttons there, the passenger door, that's the seat control, and on the driver door. That is part of the $1,100 luxury package. And with that package, you also get that walnut trim there. Kind of a mixed feelings. I like the walnut trim, the crystalline, whatever you want to call it, buttons, might be a little gaudy for me. These seats, oh, these are some of the most comfortable seats I've been in a long time. Very plush. The fabric is wool in the dark blue, and then the light blue is a microfiber suede. You can get fake leather or real leather. Interior size, it's about the size of a BMW X5, if you're wondering. And then a nice little roof panel here. If you want a little more privacy, you just hit a button, and it goes opaque. I will say, this is a touchscreen, and you do have the climate temperature always displayed on the bottom there. That's nice. But what's killing me is they don't then have a fan speed also always displayed, and I wish they did. I'm always reaching for this fan speed. In order to get to it, you have to hit that climate menu button in the middle. That's a little frustrating, but otherwise, it's a pretty good setup. But yeah, comfortable, quiet interior. In terms of rear seat space, you've got a lot to work with. I'm 6'1", I've got the driver's seat adjusted to where I keep it. So basically I'm sitting behind myself with plenty of room. I've got plenty of room for my feet, for my knees, and then more than enough headroom. Another nice trick is that the floor is perfectly flat all the way across. So if you're tall, you can sit in the middle seat and really not be cramped. That's nice. Other things that I like, you have your own climate control setup back here. That's nice. And then on the back of either seat are a pair of USB ports to charge your phone or whatever other device you have. That's great for long trips. Two things I don't love, but they're not deal breakers. The seats back here are plenty comfortable, but they don't quite have the comfort as the front seats. That's a little bit of a miss. Also, there's a lot of flat plastic back here. That stuff scuffs easily over time. It shows its age very well. So I don't love that, especially because this is a $100,000 car. But otherwise, a lot of room back here and a lot of comfort. All right, let me show you the cargo area, but before I do, I want you to take a look at a cool little trick that this car has up its sleeve. A lot of the components of the chassis and the body panels are made from carbon fiber reinforced plastic, and you can see that when you've got the doors open. You can sort of see this woven material right here, and that's a nice little flex, a nice little reminder that the iX is not your grandfather's BMW. You can also see it here when I've got the trunk open. You'll also notice when the trunk is open that you see these safety lights, hazard lights. And that's because if you were driving in the middle of the night and you pull off to the side of the road and needed to have this open, you otherwise wouldn't have any other way to alert motorists that you're here. So this is a nice little safety feature. I really like that. Otherwise, plenty of cargo space back here. The load floor is a little high, but still plenty for all your daily needs. The seats do fold flat at the push of a button, but you know what? They don't fold back up. And maybe it's just me, but for $100,000, I kind of like them to fold back. I get a little lazy. All right, no matter how you feel about the way the iX looks, you're going to love the way this thing drives. 516 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat, all-wheel drive. What I love is that the acceleration on this thing is just effortless. It doesn't even feel like it's trying. Let me just show you. And rough. Woo. But the car is serene while it does that. It's quiet, it's comfortable. The suspension is great. We have the optional dual axle air suspension, so it's soaking up a lot of little chatter. It's controlling the body roll really nicely, and then big bumps, it's got that covered too. So that's a really nice mix. Two small complaints about the way this car drives, and they both have to do with the braking system. All EVs have regenerative brakes. Most have a button or paddles to allow you to easily adjust the resistance when you pull your foot off the throttle. This car doesn't have it. You can adjust it, but it's not easily accessible. And that's sort of a miss for BMW, which always sort of positions itself as a driver's car. The other thing is that the brakes themselves, they're kind of sensitive. They don't quite have that natural feel, and that's taken a little getting used to and a little bit of a frustration for me. Otherwise, great car to drive. I'm really having a good time with it. All right, so after driving the iX around town for several days without charging it up, we don't have a charger at home, I've now taken it to a public charging station. This is in the city of Pasadena. It's run by the city itself, and it's actually free to use right now, which is a really nice feature. You can see behind me there's a bunch of Tesla supercharging stations, but there are also plenty for non-Tesla vehicles. So this has DC fast charging, and the car does too. This car can charge up to 195 kilowatts. What we were able to max out at was about 135, I think is the highest I saw. So I sat here for about an hour, and in that hour charged 225 miles of range. That's a great feature and really speaks to the ability to take this car on a longer road trip. So just something to consider. All right, that's it, our 1-week test drive of the 2022 BMW iX all-electric crossover. I just checked and we got about 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, which if you multiply over the full size of the battery, we are averaging about 265 miles on a single charge. Now, that's below the EPA estimate, which is 315 miles, so that's not great, but keep in mind, even for gas cars, the EPA estimates often are outpacing the real-world results. Otherwise, we really enjoyed it. Some of the looks people may not love. I don't love it in white, but otherwise, it's got great style inside, very comfortable and very fast. And it should be. This is over $100,000. So for reviews or listings of the iX or anything else you're shopping for, be sure to check out Autolist.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to our channel so you can get alerts of all of our future videos. We'll see you out there.